So it's been a while since I've done a Halloween-themed countdown. Not since my encounter with Slender Man. That's one scary monster. Speaking of monsters, that's what this countdown is going to be about. Monsters. The creatures that go bump in the night and filling our dreams to the brim with fright. Yes, that was a partial reference to Nightmare Before Christmas. So now for the rules. Only one monster per game series. Only games I've played can be on this list. The monster must be an enemy that you have to defend yourself against and or run away from, and the monster must have originated from a video game. However, if the monster's origin comes from another form of mythology instead of media, I'll still allow it on the list. Also, these monsters have to have some form of organic makeup. They cannot be completely mechanical. Oh, and just a heads up so I can get the haters out of the way, Gygus is not going to be on this list.
Monsters. Guess after this there'll be one less to worry about.
This is Crow Murder 15's Top 10 Monsters in Video Games. Chaos is actually one of my favorite characters, let alone enemies, in the Sonic franchise. He's an elemental being made of water that can become stronger for every Chaos Emerald he obtains. When he collects all 7 emeralds, he becomes perfect Chaos. This giant beast destroys most of Station Square. He's lowest on the list because while being gigantic and menacing, he's pretty easy to defeat in Sonic Adventure. Although I will say I love his newer look in Sonic Generations.
Run! It's Godzilla!
Imagine this. A giant ball of corpses that if you attack it, the corpses fall off and start to come towards you and attack you. That's Legion in a nutshell. It's one of the most disturbing bosses in Symphony of the Night. While hacking away at its outer shell of corpses, its core is exposed along with its tentacles that can shoot out laser beams at you. Guess we can say it's time to... let the bodies hit the... There aren't really a lot of scary Heartless or Nobodies in the Kingdom Hearts series, but one that always frightened me a little when I played the first Kingdom Hearts game was Darkside. Darkside is a massive, muscular humanoid Heartless that appears as your first boss fight of the game. It can create portals to summon shadows, shoot dark energy from the giant heart-shaped hole in its chest, but I think the scariest part is that there's more than one of these things! At the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, as the Door of Darkness is shown open, there is an entire field of nothing but Darkside. That is until King Mickey comes in and destroys them all like a badass.
Here I come to save the day!
There are a lot of bizarre and creepy creatures in the Fallout series, but none of them are more menacing than the Deathclaws. But in this case, there's one Deathclaw in particular I'm talking about. The legendary Deathclaw from Fallout New Vegas. This thing is gigantic in size compared to other Deathclaws in the game. That's including the Deathclaw Alpha and Mother Deathclaw. I think what's especially scary about this monster is that it never stalks you or comes after you unless you go into its cave in Deadwind Cavern. You've got to have a lot of guts to go in there. The closer I look at this monster, the more I think of the Violator from Spawn. Anima is honestly the only thing that scared me in the entire Final Fantasy series. Being Meister Seymour's Aeon, she is first summoned to fend off the monsters that attack the Blitzball final in Luca, or however you say it. However, later Seymour attacks you with this fiendish Aeon. Like all Aeons, Anima is a manifestation of a dream from a specific faith. In this case, it's Seymour's own mother. The chains used to drag her up from the ground and surrounding her body represent torture and pain, due to the fact that she was acting against her son's wishes in becoming a faith. The creepiest part of this thing is it has a lower half that just... well, look! Many can argue that the Wall Masters or even the Redeads in Ocarina of Time are the scariest monsters in the Legend of Zelda series, to which I can agree with to a certain extent. There's just one monster, though, that I happen to remember that sent chills up my spine the first time I encountered it at the bottom of the well. Dead Hand is by far one of the freakiest enemies in The Legend of Zelda. You don't even know it's there until one of its hands grabs you, leaving you almost completely defenseless, and then it appears. The way its neck leans back before it attacking you, the texture of its body, the gigantic jaw and mouth it uses to bite you. I think the only thing that would make this thing scarier is if it had the re-dead sound from Wind Waker whenever it appeared. Almost any monster from the Resident Evil series could have made it on this list. Lickers, regenerators, you name it. But for me, only one monster could make it on this list that I wish they would have done a little bit more with. Hunters. There are a variety of them throughout the Resident Evil series, but my main focus is on what is known as the Hunter Alpha. Making its first appearance in Resident Evil 1, the cutscene that plays right before this creature shows up is just chilling. Its speed, endurance, and the fact that it's intelligent enough to open doors. I know that last part doesn't seem like much, but when you have something this menacing that can open doors and you're not equipped for the job, you know it's just best to run away. Warning, the following imagery may be unsettling for some. Viewer discretion is advised. Yes, surprisingly enough, Pyramid Head is not number one. Pyramid Head, I will admit though, is possibly the most disturbing monster on this list. It's the embodiment of James Sunderland's desire to be punished for the death of his wife. And punishing this monster can be. It lugs around a gigantic blade that scrapes across the ground. Most importantly though, this monster symbolizes pain. You can tell by the way it moves, that huge piece of metal around its head cannot be comfortable. Only thing I can't get my head around is, why is it a pyramid?
Walk like an Egyptian.
Truth be told, BioShock can be a pretty damn creepy game, especially with all these genetically mutated humans, or as we know them, splicers, running around Rapture like they own the place. Even the Little Sisters are just downright scary. But since the Little Sisters aren't technically an enemy, I cannot put them on the list. However, Big Daddy is a terrifying enemy, and I hate having to fight these things. They are very large in size, have a drill for an arm, and if you dare touch one of the Little Sisters, you can kiss your life goodbye. Also, how a Big Daddy is made as horrifying as well. A person's body has been grafted directly to an antique atmospheric diving suit. In other words, that person's body and the suit are the same. This actually leads me to my number one. Okay. I'm bending the rules on this one just a little bit, and I have a lot of explaining to do for my number one, so bear with me. And also, just as a fair warning, spoilers ahead. Because my number one pick is from the Five Nights at Freddy's series. It's true that almost every single thing from Five Nights at Freddy's cannot be on this list. Why? Because the enemies of the game are possessed animatronics, not actual monsters. All except for one. A particular being in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and is the only enemy that can kill you in the game. Springtrap. Now it is true that Springtrap is an animatronic, but he's also a suit. Springtrap, also known as Golden Bonnie, was one of two specially designed Springlock suits. It could double as an animatronic and a suit for people to use. And this suit happens to be the very same suit that the purple guy used to murder the children. At the end of FNAF 3, you see a minigame where the spirits of the dead children cause him to rush back into the suit and be crushed by the robotic parts, leaving him to die. Fast forward to the setting of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and they find him, not knowing that there's a dead body in the suit, and brings him to, as the main attraction of Fazbear Frights. It's at this point he comes back from the dead to kill again. It's not known whether he's possessed by the purple guy's soul or if he's literally been brought back to life, but it's 100% clear this is a reanimated corpse of the purple guy, and he's coming to kill you. And if that's not a monster, I don't know what is. And that's why Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is my #1 monster. I'm Crow Murder 15, and if you excuse me, I have a phone call to take. Hello?